the SOMO Racing League is on the air. 1 week removed from the All-Star race live at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're back here again with the big one here, the championship race here. Well, the championship scoring points race here. At the same track, but this time it's more to do with the championship, as I've already mentioned. Sam Cooper Bennett in the booth with you, joined as always by my broadcast partner, my brother from another mother, Mr. Tony Trapasso. Also joined with me is Mr. Nate Siefka. Guys, I'm looking forward to this one tonight.
Yeah, should be good. Yeah, it should definitely be a fairly interesting race with the guys racing here last week, so they have a little bit of experience with the way this racetrack has been racing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's Cup cars in Charlotte. What could possibly go wrong?
Anything and everything, as I've always said. But anyway, if last week's All-Star race is anything to go by, then this one should be an absolute barn burner, as we are just shy of, well, just over 3 minutes left in hot lap sessions. 155 laps to kick off here tonight, so it's going to be 45 for stage 1, 90 for stage 2, and then it's clean racing all the way to the checkered flag. So stages afoot here tonight, unlike back to normal if you think about it compared to last week. It's good to get back to normal again. But anyway, just want to give a quick shout out to Adam Baker and Keith Mayato. They were in Top Fuel Racing's Indy 500 last night. Keith Mayato picking up a huge win last night in that Indy 500, so kudos going out to him. And Adam Baker coming home with a top 5, I think it was, or top 6 anyway. But,
yeah, Chris Samardo's in that race as well.
Yeah,
race as well too.
Yeah, and all three of those guys actually working together and getting up there and using full fuel strategy to get their way to the front. But anyway, let's go through some sponsors first before we go to our live qualifying for tonight's race. Firstly, I want to give a shout out to tonight's race sponsor. That is iRacing World. It's a group for all iRacers that want to get involved and join each other as a community and talk about iRacing. Just go to iRacing World and they are on Facebook. Just want to give a shout out to Top City Travel. Book your next trip with Top City Travel. You will get the best prices possible for your next vacation. Want to give a shout out to the league spot, one of the league sponsors, United Real Estate. If you want a decent price for your home, or if you're looking to buy a home, go to United Real Estate. They will get you a decent deal. Give a shout out to Coffee and Glitter Mom. They are one of the usual race sponsors for the league. If you want a decent cup for your, decently styled cup for your barbecue lit this summer, go to www.facebook.com/Coffee and Glitter Mom. Want to go to our next sponsor, which is PZ Overlays. Paul Zota, one of the best makers in broadcasting overlays out there right now. That is Paul Zota. He if you want to overlay for your broadcast like the one you see here tonight, then go no further than PZ Overlays. You will find him on Facebook. And also, and finally, I would be remiss if we didn't show our long-time support for pulmonary hypertension awareness. PH Aware, one of the leading organisations to raise awareness and hopefully find a cure in the future for pulmonary hypertension, one of the most difficult to diagnose diseases in the world. If you want more information or if you want to throw out a donation, then go to phaware.global. Well, guys, we are about 10 seconds to qualifying. What are your thoughts going into tonight's race?
Well, I'm actually out on track right now, ghosting some laps just to see what the setup feels like. And how these guys do this on a regular basis, I have no idea. Because, you know, admittedly, I'm not a cup driver, but this car and I have a hate-hate relationship.
Yeah, this car is not very. I mean, you think in theory the combo should be pretty well, but I'm looking forward to Baker having a good showing. He was 5/100ths of a second clear of the field, and everybody only one of the twos. He should be the one to watch qualifying. Also look for all the guys who ran well, Mayato, Baker, and Samard, who were in the Indy 500 tonight. They got their racing in for the week. They're warmed up, so they should have a good showing tonight.
As qualifying is underway, and we are watching Adam Baker on his first outlap. This is open qualifying, as you can see. Chris Samard right behind him there, out on track with him. Let's pull up the qualifying times there on the left-hand side of your screen, so you will be able to see the times as they appear on your screen. So it's getting interesting, the championship battle now, as we're approaching halfway into the season, guys. Adam Baker still has the lead out in front, but Keith Mayato, he's just on a roll lately.
Mayato is always going to be tough to beat wherever he goes, and he showed that last night in the Top Fuel Indy 500.
Absolutely, like I said before, picking up the win there last night in his first ever, well, it's what, his fourth race since he joined the league?
Fourth or fifth, yeah, and you know, it was a fuel strategy play, and you know, Keith came out on top. Yeah. But it's not like he wasn't running up front most of the event, too.
Yeah, Chris Samard and Adam Baker not far behind either, so all three of those guys that run for Southern Motorsports really taking it to the usual front runners at Top Fuel Racing and coming out on top. Meanwhile, let's go to looking at our qualifying times there. Keith Mayato already throwing down one of the best times there, 28.231, Tony.
Yeah, Keith is you know, just usually on point, and when he can get into clean air, forget it, you're not catching him.
Yeah, and I'm guessing he's hoping to I'm guessing this is a second chance for him tonight, because he made that mistake last week in the All-Star race, and he really wants to put that behind him and actually get the win here tonight. Adam Baker in second, Chris Samard in third, Tom Clayton up in the top five, Lupe Gonzalez, winner at Dover, he is there in fifth place, Seth Hatchell sixth, Vince Moore, one of the new guys out on track right now, he is in seventh, Aaron Mulrooney Jr. running the new paint scheme tonight, he is in eighth, ninth is Aaron Schaefer, and running out of the top 10 and actually struggling in qualifying tonight, Mr. Joe Mitchell, but don't count him out regardless.
You realize how terrifying it is to be on track with these guys and have them not know that you're actually there, and to watch them just go zipping through your car like you're parked?
Yeah.
Well, Baker's only 2,000ths of a second off Mayato's pole time, so if you're Baker, you just want to improve a little bit to get on pole. Probably fuming that he's just 2,000ths of a second from getting the pole. Those are two very fast laps there, so he's probably hot in the color, wanting to get a little bit faster.
You're not wrong.
Absolutely. As we're going to take a break away from qualifying now, as we're just under 1 minute and 20 seconds before the race. We are just going to step away for 1 minute bit while we go to tonight's national anthem segment of the race. Let's stand up, put your hand on your heart, and let's embrace the national anthem. So 155 laps here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is the SOMO Racing League Portside Jaguar and Land Rover Cup Series live from Charlotte. Gonna be a decent race. Before we go to our race, let's go to our grid for that session. Now, starting up on the front row will be Keith Moyato. Joining him on that front row will be Adam Baker. On row 2 will be Chris Simard and Tom Clayton. Row 3, Lupe Gonzalez and Seth Hatchell. Row 4 will be Vince Moore and Aaron Mulrooney Jr. And row 5 will be Aaron Schaefer and Ryan Robertson.
Row 6 is going to see Joe Mitchell and David Gainsforth. Paul Cohen and Ron Hollyfield are going to roll off in row number 7. Row 8 is going to see Larry Holloway and Jeff Glockner. Lenny McNeese and Jeff Neff are going to roll off in row number 9, with row 10 going to Jay Dubuque, who was the last car to actually take time. Brad Hicks scheduled to roll off in 20th. Jay Felton and Paul Zoda both electing to not take time.
Yeah, and that is going to be your grid for tonight's race as they are rolling off now. Keith Moyato, your pole sitter, is there. Let's go to him right now. As there they are, just making their way around the track. Let's put up the toll script. Scroll tick on the live 3. And we're about to get them going again. So, not the 600 that we thought we were going to have last week, but definitely going to be an interest. Oh, it's actually 165 laps tonight, so very, very different here indeed. Going to be an exciting...
Well, after last night's marathon session, I have to thank Paul for not scheduling this one to be all 600 miles.
Yeah. As they make their way into the 3-4 complex, this is going to be one hell of an exciting race. If last week's All-Star race is anything to go by, there goes the pace car and holding them down slightly. And away we go. 165 laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway are underway. Keith Moyato getting off to the clean start. Adam Baker drops to the inside as here comes Chris Simard on the inside into 3rd place. There is Lupe Gonzalez up into 6th place as well. Seth Hatchell there as well. Tom Clayton in 4th. So everybody getting away cleanly. Aaron Mulrooney Jr. there battling hard with Lupe Gonzalez already as hits the back fender of him already.
Well, there's no love lost between those two, as we well know, but a little early to be driving that flat-out aggressively so far.
Yeah, as we see Vince Moore in that very nice-looking STP car, trying to make that inside line work on the 07. Gets the inside as they're very close going on the backstretch towards turn 3. Vince Moore got the inside line. Still side by side, gets a bit more of a run coming out of turn 4. Can he make it work as they make their way towards the tri-oval? No, they can't, as Mulrooney Jr. lives to fight another day. There is the 11 of Aaron Schaefer. No, not Aaron Schaefer. Is it?
Yeah, that's Schaefer in the 71.
71, that's the what? Aaron Schaefer now fancies a piece of that action. He wants to get on the inside of Vince Moore. Luckily, backs off and gets back into line. Ryan Robertson, one of the bad luck kids from the All-Star race last week. He is there on the inside of Joe Mitchell, who's running the 18 Skittles scheme tonight. So, different paint scheme there for Joe Mitchell. Seems to be struggling here tonight, Tony.
We saw Joe have pretty much the same race last week, too. He didn't qualify all that great. You know, it was mid-pack most of the night. And then when it came time to turn it on, you know, when it's time to go, Joe Mitchell knows when it's time to go. And right now, we're only just starting lap number 5, so still plenty of time in this one.
Absolutely. Let's go back to our lead battle as Keith Moyato is under attack by Adam Baker. Adam Baker obviously winning that All-Star race last week after a mistake by the 09. Can Adam Baker keep it wound up on the bottom there as Keith Moyato keeping it wound up on the high side? Adam Baker's going to try and get the clear as they come across the line. Chris Simard also in the fray too, as he's going to capitalise on any mistake either one of these make as they go into turns 1 and 2.
10 1/1000ths of a second for Baker at the line.
Yeah, and Adam Baker actually getting the clear as they come out of turn 2. Look at Chris Samato. He fancies a move on either one of these two as Keith Mayato dives on the inside into turn 3. Keeps alongside him in turn 4. Looks like he's going to get the clear coming out of turn 4 across the line. Give that lap to... Oh, that is very close.
6/1000ths of a second to Mayato.
It's getting ever closer as it looks like Mayato still got the nose out in front as they come out of turn 2 onto the backstretch.
Yeah, I was about to say that everyone's going to get single foul and then just go to this battle at the front. They're side by side. They've been side by side for about 3 laps now, as it looks like Baker's going to get the clear here finally, as we're going to go back to single foul racing, it looks like here.
Well, Mayato, you know, he's been doing this long enough to realize that just running that low line, all he's going to do is just burn those tires off way quicker than he needs to.
And Chris Samar decided to back off a bit as well. He did get a small bit of a run on Mayato after he got passed by Baker. Decided discretion being the best part of valor for the 770. He's backed off, but can't back off too much because there is Tom Clayton waiting in the wings there in 4th place. Seth Hatchell is under attack by Lupe Gonzalez now, so that's a decent battle there for that top 5 spot there, guys. Go back further in the pack as we're going to watch Mr. Len McNeese, a guy we're very used to seeing in the Paskies series as well. Running in the mid-pack here tonight, running in 15th place. Everybody actually minding their P's and Q's here tonight, apart from the guys at the front, as they are battling it out for the lead once again. Yeah, everybody minding their P's and Q's right now and just riding safe at this point.
Well, they know that this is going to be one of the longer races of the season, so, and you know, nobody wants to have the type of incidents that we had last week that were just, they were highly avoidable, easily avoidable, and you know, according to what I heard in the pre-race drivers meeting, you know, the league management kind of tried to calm these guys down as best they could.
Absolutely, as we're just watching Seth Hatchell there, he's actually got a couple of car lengths over Lupe Gonzalez now. Everybody settled down. Meanwhile, trouble for Paul Zota. He hasn't had the best of starts. He's already 5 laps down and has been in pit road for over 2 minutes. Definite trouble.
I'm going back to look at it right now to see what did take place.
So we're going to take a look at them. And the caution is out. That is Brian Neff involved in that. Jeff Glockner's in that too. Let's go back and see what happened between those guys. There's Jeff Glockner there, coming out of turn 4.
Alright, so Zota tried to knock the flag stand down on lap number 5.
Right.
And just completely decimated the right side of that car.
Oh! Just gone back and watched the incident between that involved Jeff Glockner. Paul Cohen going across the grass, hitting the outside wall, taking Brian Neff with him. Both of them sliding up the track, and yeah, Glockner had nowhere to go. And that is going to be their race done in the early runnings of tonight's event. Paul Cohen definitely out. Jeff Glockner, his car is all torn up. He's going to be out. Brian Neff looks like he's survived slightly, but he's still got a damaged car. But definitely Paul Cohen, the catalyst for that huge wreck that just happened just now.
And Larry Holloway catching a piece of it as well as Ron Holyfield.
And that crash lasted the entire front stretch. He got loose off of 4, went through the grass, and once you get there, I mean, at that point, you're kind of in trouble. And it just happened to take him up to the wall there.
As we're looking at the action on pit road right now, everybody bringing it down pit road for Fresh, Mr. Feelgood, and Fuel. And Keith Mayata's going to win the race off pit road. It's all the same people coming out of pit road in the same fashion. Seth Hatchell actually moving up to 4th. Joe Mitchell comes out in 5th. Lupe Gonzalez 6th. Aaron Mulrooney Jr. 7th, Ryan Robertson 8th, 9th is Vince Moore. Rounding out the top 10 is David Gainforth in that Miller High Life machine.
Did Hatchell only take 2?
No, he took 4.
Okay.
So did Joe Mitchell. They just got really good pit stops.
Fair enough.
Everybody...
And, you know, it's like we talked about with Mitchell. He said he was having problems. You know, he's already picked off a good number of spots running. I got him in 5th right now.
Yeah,
and he started 11th. So, I mean, you can't shake a stick at that, really.
No, he was in P11 before the caution came out, and gaining 6 spots in that pit stop. That is unbelievable pit stop running there.
And this just in, Paul Zoda's night is done.
Oh, wow. I'm guessing that's going to be the same for Paul Cohen and Jeff Glockner as well, as they're both already 3 laps down.
Well, it's the 5-minute rule is in effect tonight. And unfortunately, Zoda damaged the right side of that car coming through the dog leg more than he probably thought he did. And, you know, discretion being the better part of valor. And we all know Paul's not the type of guy that... It would make him physically ill if he ended someone else's night on a mistake like that. So, wanted to make sure he got it fixed properly, and unfortunately the team couldn't beat the clock.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Zota. Really had high hopes for tonight's race, but really had the worst start imaginable as he really damaged that car to the point where he can no longer continue. And it looks like Jeff Glockner and Paul Cohen are going to be facing the same fate, as they're almost 4 minutes in pit road already.
And Larry Holloway's been pit farming the 70, and
Brad Hicks
still got a lot of damage on that one.
Yeah, Brad Hicks is in too for a top up of fuel as well. No damage on that car. Obviously, he was not involved in that incident. Glockner is now behind the wall, I should add, so he's out already. So yeah. As a 2x2 again, Tony, get us going again, dude.
So we saw them do this last night, and they were working together as a team. Tonight they're working against each other as competitors. The 2 winningest drivers in SOMO history, Keith Liotto, Adam Baker, and Chris Simard right there with his teammate right in front of him. So look for some fireworks to happen on this restart as the field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Lights are out on the Ford Mustang GT 500 pace car. We are going to turn them back loose to start lap 17. Mayato holding them down and exit. Here we go, back live from Charlotte.
And already Chris Simard already trying to take an inside line on Adam Baker. Chris Simard looks really hungry for tonight's race after such disappointment in last week's All-Star race. Really wants to put that behind him as Adam Baker gets squirrely coming out of turn 2. As did Joe Mitchell, really got it wrong. And there goes Lupe Gonzalez to his outside. Here come Robertson and Mulrooney too. Mitchell is in trouble.
Mitchell's not in as much trouble as you might think he is. He has the preferred line going into 1, and he knows Lupe Gonzalez is not going to, you know, dive bomb the corner and try to cut him off. So Mitchell's just going to hold his line, and he'll slot in where he can. So he's not in as much trouble as people might think. Yes. And it's still early.
Absolutely, we're only on lap 18 of 165. Oh, and there goes, oh my God. Vince Moore destroying his car on the outside there, and lots of people going with him. Clayton's in it. Neff is in it again. Let's take a look at that again as they come out of turn 4. Oh, it looks like you got a bit of help from Aaron Schaefer. Brian Neff taking a race car to the face. Not sure what happened to Tom Clayton as he was in it as well.
Clayton basically caught the tail of the 71 as Schaefer was spinning up the track. Clayton had nowhere to go and just caught the quarter panel of Schaefer's car.
Some more damaged cars there as caution number 2 comes out at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Vince Moore having our first. Thank God this is a simulator moment, as he basically...
He Richard Petty'd that crash.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's driving a Richard Petty car, so that kind of fits in.
Well, if you look at how he crashed and you take a look at the last really bad one that Petty had at Daytona.
Yeah.
Once Neff hit him, it was a similar roll. It was... Yeah, that was very Petty-esque. It's... So all we need now is for Ron Holyfield to do the same thing, and we have the 2 reasons why we have the 2 bars on the passenger side of Cup cars now.
Absolutely. It looks like Len McNeese got involved in that as well, and he did. So unfortunate there for the 84. He got caught. He was a victim of circumstance in that, as J.D. Buick is our new leader.
Yeah, unfortunately, the 71 came went spinning into the grass, and then came back up, and McNeese just could not get it woed up in time.
Yeah, so unfortunate there for McNeese, as he has substantial damage on that car. He is still in pit road, as you can see right there. There's Vince Moore's damaged number 43 on pit road 2. So Moore involved in that, McNeese involved in that. Gameforth also involved in that too. He's got some front end damage. Brian Neff, his night has got to be done. He took a race car straight to the face and completely pancaked that car. Aaron Schaefer involved in that too. Tom Clayton involved in that. Joe Mitchell did get a bit of damage, but that wasn't involved in the incident, and that was when he pancaked the outside wall coming out of turn 2, which unsettled his car and made him lose a ton of positions.
Now that crash, it looked like it was one of those weird iRacing contacts with the wall, because it looked like he hit it right where the safer barrier juts out a little bit, so that probably caused a bunch of damage to everybody else's appeared. At least that's how it appeared on my screen there.
You talking about Mitchell's issue, or are you talking about the 43?
The 43, at least that's
no,
what
he caught the transition off of 4. The transition off of 4 is kind of weird here, where it's like trying to avoid a pothole, for lack of a better analogy, Nate.
Okay.
You know, being as where you're from, kind of near where I'm from, not that far as snowbelt areas go.
Oh yeah.
It's like trying to avoid a pothole in the spring. If you don't get it right, you're along for the ride at that point.
Absolutely, you are. But another talking point is Baker only took 2 tires that stop.
Yeah, we've got Scott Brinson as our Facebook Live reporter right now. He's doing the texting over on Facebook. So if you want to talk to Scott Brinson, one of our broadcast partners, then please get involved with the action on Facebook Live. He is there if you want to chat to him and join in the fun as well. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, welcome on there. If you like what you're seeing, then please leave a subscribe and tap the bell button if you want to find out find out firsthand when our live streams appear. Meanwhile, we are 2x2, about to get them going again. Nate, why don't you get them going this time, buddy?
10-4 to that, as Baker is your leader. Now he had 2 tires, so this could be interesting to see how he does here. He only took the right side, so it'll be interesting to see if we have a nice green flag run to see how he does. Keith Mayato, he's been pretty strong all night tonight, so we'll see how he gets going as we get through the 3-4 complex. Lights are off on the pace car here, as we're just going to be waiting to go here. This pace car's coming down now. Baker is waiting. Still waiting, and now he decides to go. Green flag is out, and he got a good jump there. Well clear of Mayato as they cross the finish line.
With Baker taking 2 tires, the one thing I noticed last week, drivers were complaining that as the run went on, the car was getting, it started off uber tight and then would neutralize as the run went on. It's a good possibility that Baker took 2, trying to see how that's going to work, especially later on. Once we get some rubber worked into this track, it could work out for him.
Absolutely, as Baker did get off to a huge jump start there, but look at the man behind him, the 09 of Keith Mayata. Remember, he took 4 tires. Chris Samard under pressure there from Seth Hatchell. Seth Hatchell would love to get another win on the season here tonight. Really had some poor luck of late, but really want to get his season back on track. As there is Lupe Gonzalez back there in 5th place. He's in a battle of his own right now. Well, he's not really in a battle, as Ryan Robertson is right behind him there in 6th place. Aaron Mulrooney Jr. trying to have a clean race. He hasn't had the cleanest of races the last few races, but he's there in a battle with Joe Mitchell, who always loves to get stuck in that number 18, and they are almost a second to the good over Ron Hollifield is there in P9. Also in the top 10.
Hollifield on a move right now. Ryan Robertson on a move. A lot of these guys that started deeper in the field. Jay Felton's already up to 10th from 21st.
Absolutely running in that number 9 Hooters machine. Definitely wants to get another decent result. He had a fantastic result at Talladega. Not much has happened since then, so another person wanting to get his season back on track. Brad Hicks, podium finisher at Talladega, he wants to be up there too. Brian Neff amazingly still running and on the lead lap too, even with the front end missing off his car. Looks like a pavement modified, if you ask me.
Well, this is going to be a race of attrition, unfortunately, as Zoda, Glockner, Cohen, Moore, and now Tom Clayton have all not made the 5-minute rule. So we have just lost our 5th car of the night.
Absolutely, as we're still watching Brian Neff there. He's got a 5-second gap over Jay Dubuque there, who's riding in the 66. I wonder if Jay Dubuque's just sitting back and waiting for another caution. Meanwhile, let's go back to the front of the field. Alan Baker still leads this thing with Keith Mayata in 2nd. Chris Samard sits in 3rd. Now throw a blanket over your top 3, guys.
Yeah, throw a blanket on top 3, but kind of spread out. You got to go back to the Mitchell and Mulrooney battle for 7th there, as it looks like we got Mitchell going on the inside here. He might make this work here, but that's about the one battle, legitimate battle we got going on. Everyone else is kind of tail and stern there.
Well, you got Gonzalez and Hatchell in front of them too. Those guys are kind of slugging it out for 5th.
Yeah, I just noticed that there, but I mean, a lot of lines are starting to develop, especially 1 and 2. You're starting to see people run that 3rd lane. So that might be something to discuss later on the night, is see how that top lane develops throughout the night.
This is one of those tracks that when it takes rubber, that's when you can start making some moves. Unfortunately, with the way Charlotte's set up, on a green track, you need to be on the bottom. As it starts to rubber in, you're going to want to be not in all of the rubber.
Absolutely, as it looks like Lupe Gonzalez has actually backed off from Seth Hatchell, so discretion being the better part of valor there for the 53. Let's go back to the battle between Aaron Mulrooney Jr. and Joe Mitchell. Joe Mitchell has actually made the move on Mulrooney and is up to P7 now. His next target is Ryan Robertson in that number 32 Fuel Toyota.
And Samard just caught the wall coming off of 4, so a little bit of right rear damage on the Mountain Dew Ice 77.
Yeah. Apparently a highly recommended drink right now.
It's... I would liken it to, if you're a Coke fan, I would liken it to Sprite.
Yeah.
It tastes exactly like Sprite.
But it has caffeine in it. That's the difference, is it actually does have caffeine.
Here's the question. Here's a question to you guys. Have you tried the cucumber flavored Sprite yet?
Not only no, but hell no.
There is a cucumber flavored Sprite out there.
Thank God not in Syracuse.
Or Iowa for that matter.
Anyway, let's look at our lead battle there as Keith Baiato has caught up to the back of that 48. And they're side by side again as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Baiato keeping it wound up on the high side. Looks like he's going to try and get the pass done up there on that high side as these two are resuming their battle from the All-Star race last week. And it looks like it's going to be gloves off this time as Keith Baiato still keeping it wound up on the high side. Very, very quick reactions to keep it off the wall. It looks like he was given that lap as they made their way into turns 1 and 2. Adam Baker's still able to keep it with him as they come out of turn 2 onto the backstretch, Tony.
Side by side down the backstretch, and Baiato finally gets it clear. Baker knows that all he's going to do is just burn all of the goodness off those tires by staying low like that. So, you know, unfortunately for Adam Baker right now, he is he's actually in a GAC sandwich with Simard and Baiato running nose to tail, and he's got some work to do.
Absolutely, as it looks like Seth Hatchell's trying to get in on the action as well, as he is closing in on the back of that number 77. He's left Lupe Gonzalez behind and now fancies the chances of getting up into that top 3 there, guys.
Well, I mean, as long as these guys have been running so far, I gotta think we're probably not that far off from green flag start.
Absolutely, and we're also not far off from the end of the first stage as well. We're on lap 38, and I'm assuming the end of stage 1 will be on lap 45, so watch out for that first stage to be coming to an end in approximately 7 laps.
I got him working lap 39 right now.
Yep. At least we don't have to guess the laps this time, Tony.
Well, if I had to venture a guess, is it 45? Did Zota actually say that, or?
I'm just guesstimating.
If I had to guess, I would say it would be 50, 100, and then 65. So 50, 50, 65 for the laps, but that's just me. I'm stupid like that.
You might be right. You might be right.
Place your bets, folks.
I'm going to go with 50. How about that? I'll go with 50.
We have problems for Brad Hicks. He was blinking pretty badly just then. As he's in 9th place. Joe Mitchell is there in 10th place. He's dropped a couple of spots as well. So problems for the 18. He was up in P7 at one point and now he's dropped back again. So is that a tyre saving strategy or is something really happened to the 18?
I went back and on lap 38, 39 he took a nice trip through the grass, so he got loose off of 4 and decided he wanted to go and be a lawnmower for a little bit, so that's why he's back in 10th.
Okay, so he actually changed the flavor of his fire suit.
Got a heck of a battle shaping up second here, it looks like.
Baiato's about half a second up the road. You got this battle for second really heating up with Baker, Simard, and Hatchell. And Lupe Gonzalez just far enough back that should things start to get a little blue in front of him, he's got a chance to at least get the car woed up.
Yeah, they're all coming around now to put a lap on Len McNeese. Len McNeese obviously was caught in that last caution. Keith Baiato passes him. And here come the 3 angry dogs behind him. That is Baker, Simard, and Hatchell. They get past McNeese with ease. So McNeese not having the best of races, although he is still in the top 15, albeit 2 laps down.
With that pass, that leaves only Gainsforth to be a lap down, so he'll get the lucky dog here, and then that'll leave the battle between McNeese and Holloway for the lucky dog from that point on.
Well, I've watched the last handful of laps between Simard and Hatchell, and they're trying to rack. They're doing everything they can to rack. It's just both of them are, you know, they drive too well to actually rack.
Yeah. But yeah, Adam Baker really under pressure now from that 77 and the number 8. As yeah, that's the end of the first caution.
There it is.
First stage, yeah. So I was right.
Guess I owe some money to someone.
You can actually make that donation to the GoFundMe page to bring Sam over here in October so he can experience his first Snap Auto Parts Super Dirt Week.
That's a good peg into that. That was impressive. I actually think I will make a donation to that.
That's a good. That was a good segue.
You can find information on how you can make a donation to the GoFundMe on the BOFA Facebook page. Just look for the GoFundMe post, and all proceeds will be to help fly Sam over and back for the week-long event.
Absolutely, as we are going to go to our stage results now. Keith Mayato getting the first stage win, Adam Baker second, Chris Simard third, Seth Hatchell fourth. Rounding out the top 5 in stage 1 is Lupe Gonzalez, 6th was Ryan Robertson, 7th Aaron Mulroney Jr., 8th Jay Felton, 9th in the end was Joe Mitchell, and rounding out the top 10 in stage 1 and collected that last bonus point was Brad Hicks. So stage 1 in the books, guys. Interesting race so far.
I gotta say, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed. You know, a lot of these guys are keeping their head about them. They're not overdriving the cars yet, and you know, there's a lot of give and take so far. When we get later into, you know, especially when we get into stage 3, don't expect there to be as much give and take.
I definitely expect stage 2 to be basically the carbon copy of stage 1. Should be interesting though to see how much different it will be. It won't be much different, I don't think, but it will be a little different with maybe some guys might see some more guys rotating the top 5, but it's going to be probably pretty much the same thing that we saw in stage 1.
Problems for Samad as he gets his pit stop all wrong, as he's going to lose a ton of positions by the looks of things. Joe
Been caught speeding once when I was 3rd.
I think he just overshot his pit box. That's all he did.
Well, let me go look.
But anyway, that promoted.
No, he didn't overshoot it.
All right.
He hit his mark spot on. He just got popped for speeding.
Well, that sucks. But anyway, Lemon needs staying out to get the wave around. Keith Mayato winning the race off pit road. Adam Baker second, Seth Hatchell third, Ryan Robertson up to 4th now. Joe Mitchell, another stellar pit stop for him. He's up to 5th. One of the biggest losers in pit road was Lupe Gonzalez. He's dropped all the way down to P12 now.
And Lupe, I believe, was another one that got popped for... No, okay, Lupe was trying to get some damage fixed. Not sure when Lupe pancaked the right side of that 53, but there's a lot of right side damage on that car. And so he was trying to pit farm a little bit there under caution and try to get as much damage fixed as he could. So,
and that might explain why he backed off so much from Seth Hatchell after the battle he had with him.
That would be a real good reason, especially considering and slid through his pit stall. So had insult to injury there. So yeah, Lupe did slide through his stall, but yeah, the 77 of Samard just unfortunately popped for speeding.
And while we're speaking of damaged cars, you know, Len McNeese, as we said, took the wave around with that damaged race car. Now he's only 1 lap down, and Holloway, who was the other car that was 2 laps down with him, you know, he's a whole lap behind him now. So we got a quick caution, you know, he's back on the lead lap. So pretty smart from McNeese there to, you know, stay out and get 1 lap closer to be on the lead lap.
Absolutely, as they line up 2 by 2 again. Stage 2 is about to get underway again as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Keith Mayato, your leader, Adam Baker second, Seth Hatchell third, Ryan Robertson 4th. 5th is Joe Mitchell, 6th is Chris Samard after mistakes on pit road, 7th is Jay Felton, 8th is Aaron Mulrooney Jr. 9th is Ron Hollifield. After everything he's been through in this race, he's still in the top 10. J.D. Buke is in 10th. David Gameforth is in 11th after getting his lucky dog. And Lupe Gonzalez is in 12th. Hicks is 13th. 14th, Brian Neff. And running out the top 15 is Len McNeese. And last car on the road and 4 laps down is Larry Holloway. Actually,
and if you take a look at where Hollyfield and Gainsworth are running, they're in sister cars.
I know, right? As the pace car is off, as we're about to get stage 2 underway, there goes Keith Moyata. One hell of a restart there for the number 09. Adam Baker spinning the tyres, and now he is in trouble. He's got Hatchell and Robertson, Samad and Mitchell, a pack of hungry dogs right behind him there, Tony.
Absolutely, all that entire group hungry for a win right now. Been a dry spell for all of them, and every one of those drivers would love nothing more than to get onto the top step of the podium tonight here at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's very close there between Robertson and Samad there, as Robertson almost getting into the wall, but he is chasing down that number 8 car of Seth Hatchell very hard, as Mitchell is on the apron. Got pushed down a bit by the 32, lives to fight another day. As look at Samad actually bump drafting with Robertson as they go into turn 3. Nate.
Yeah, that was pretty close there. Samad almost came down in front of Mitchell while bump drafting there with Robertson there. But looks like they all got through there as the top 6 are starting to make a little run. Actually, top 7. Nice little pack that they have here going on, but it'll be hopefully they all keep it together, because as we said, this has been a race of attrition. We got 14 cars on the lap at this point in a field that had 22 starters.
Now just noticed Joe Mitchell getting a bit out of shape as they came out of turn 2 there. That's left the door open for Aaron Mulrooney Jr. to take the position away from him, and there he goes across the line. Aaron Mulrooney Jr. moves up to 6th, and after that mistake there, Joe Mitchell now drops back down to 7th. Joe Mitchell.
And Baker back to the front.
We just missed that. Adam Baker's back to the front. Keith Moyato is in 2nd. Seth Hatchell is 3rd. Ryan Robertson is 4th. Chasing down that number 8 really hard now. And it looks like Seth Hatchell is actually closing in on Keith Moyato. Moyato looks like he's struggling at this point.
I'm not sure if he's struggling or he's just looking to settle in and get a rhythm going.
Let's go back to this battle between Hatchell and now Samad is up to 4th place. He wants to get up to that top 3 again, as he has got around Ryan Robertson. Somehow, from nowhere, Ryan Robertson has fallen to the tail end of the top 5.
Yeah, Robertson started this race 10. He's one of the guys that is only 8 and 10, and I thought cycling the top 5. You see him doing that now. Another guy that's in the top 10 that kind of a shocker that he's there is Jay Vilton. He started this race 21st. He actually didn't even set a time in qualifying. So we're starting to see some guys that have managed to keep the car clean to this point, starting to come to the front here. So this could develop a bit more. We might see some more guys that started towards the rear make their way to the front.
Yeah, so we saw last week that Felton was real strong, especially on the longer runs. The setup really played into his driving style. The longer these segments stayed green. So look for Felton. If we do get long green flag runs, look for Felton to keep moving forward.
Now I must ask, is it the same setup as last week?
It says it's the same setup as last week, which I'm not sure why it's named this, but it's named Daytona 2011 Oval.
Yeah, we discussed this last week. It's a very interesting setup to have around the 1.5 oval known as Charlotte.
I'll tell you right now, it's definitely not Daytona gearing, because when I was turning those few hot laps that I was turning, I was banging the chip going into 3 running by myself.
Yeah, heavily modified setup there, specifically made for Charlotte, as Joe Mitchell has actually got around Aaron Mulrooney Jr. now and is back up into P6, but look at the damage on the left front of that number 18 Skittles machine. Definitely not going to work in his favour later on in the race as they come out of turn 4. Aaron Mulrooney Jr. actually managing to stay with him as this battle continues for 6th place.
Now, when I saw him go through the grass and take his little lawnmower ride, you know, I saw him get airborne a couple of times, so I don't know if that damage is from that or from a later incident, but that could be very well that little mistake he had that could have cost it.
Well, he's definitely going to have damage to the splitter if he was going airborne through the grass, so that could definitely affect his aerodynamics as he makes his way out of turn 4. Splitter damage is pretty serious in these Gen 6s.
You're not wrong. You know, when it was just you know, a flat piece of vertical plastic, you could get away with, you know, having a ding in it, or, you know, having it not quite perfect. But with the way that these things ride now, you have to have it dead nut flat, dead nut perfect, and it cannot just constantly scrape the track like we used to run almost 15 years ago now.
Absolutely is that. As we're still watching Joe Mitchell there, he's actually starting to pull away from the 07 of Aaron Mulrooney Jr. Let's go back to the leader of the second pack, that is Jay Felton. Being chased down now by the 53 of Lupe Gonzalez. Gonzalez finally getting back into his rhythm as he's now putting pressure on the number 9 in that Hooters car.
Ooh, McNeese about caused a crash when he came into pit road there. I picked up some damage, but he about drifted up right at the passes Samard and Robertson there, so that could have been a disaster.
Absolutely, as there is Gonzalez. He's trying to look for an inside line on Jay Felton. Doesn't quite get it this time round. Tries again as they go through 3 and 4. Gets a better run as he's alongside him now as they make their way towards the tri-oval. There is Gonzalez. Give that one to Felton, but Gonzalez really got the better run as they go towards turn 1, Tony.
And you saw it last time. Gonzalez having to run that low line. Had a little bit of a wiggle coming off of 2. Let's see what happens this time. He's actually able to get the clear and let it drift up. But coming off 2x2, there was a little bit of a wiggle having to pinch it down. And, you know, that's something we're probably going to want to keep an eye on as the closing laps of this race come into play. You know, is somebody going to be able to get a run and get the clear before they come off the exit at 2?
Yeah, that's the biggest question. As Felton has now dropped behind Gonzalez and is now under pressure from Brad Hicks. Brad Hicks fancies a chance of getting up there as he's alongside Felton. Felton just lets him go.
Jay Felton knows that it's way too early to be fighting that hard for the positions that they're running for. And he probably also just got word that Brian Neff has been told to park it. So we are now down to 15 cars left in the event.
Wow. That is unfortunate for the race. As look at Brad Hicks. He's getting a run on Lupe Gonzalez now. Brad Hicks has really got the bit between his teeth in this part of the race now. Brad Hicks.
Well, we saw this last week too. Is, you know, Hicks is one of those guys that, as the run started to progress and the tires started to lose all their goodness off of them, you know, Hicks is a wheelman, and when it comes time to get up on the wheel, you know, that's when Hicks starts to move forward. That's when Lupe Gonzalez starts to move forward. That's when Jay Felton starts to move forward. Yeah, they're mired right now in the backside of the top 10, but we're still only in the second segment, and these guys know that we are at 100 to go mark, or just past the 100 to go mark, with 99 to go. So still plenty of racing left tonight.
Speaking of race, we got a great battle for the lead here.
I was just about to point to that as Adam Baker is now under pressure from Keith Mayato and Seth Hatchell as they make their way out of turn 4. Mayato really wants to get back to the front, and Seth Hatchell would just like to lead a lap at this point. As it looks like they're slowly leaving Chris Samard behind, so these three battling amongst themselves is actually making things a bit worse for that 77. As, nope, I take that back, he's actually starting to close in on them again.
Well, you gotta think we're starting to think about pit stops here as, you know, we're working lap 68. If you figure in caution periods about 4 to 5 laps, that means we've been working 19 laps over this green flag run. So maybe
those tires are whooped.
Yeah, their tires are definitely whooped. But we, you know, ooh, it's Mayato and Baker. Ooh, look at that.
That was very close as they were side by side coming out of turn 2. Mayato having to back out of it as they both got squirrely.
I just changed the flavor of my driving suit.
As there it is, Adam Baker going to make another run on the outside, still keeping it wound up there on the high side. Mayato still trying to opt for that bottom line to try and get around the 48, but that high line seems to be the preferred line as they come out of turn 2. Hatchell now going to give Baker a push as they go towards turn 3. Baker now gets the clear. Is he going to drop down and fend off the 09 as it looks like Mayato's bringing it pit side. First of the leaders to blink.
Right, we were just talking about pit stops. There's one that decides to blink and he's going to be the dummy for everybody to see how much faster he is.
Well, we saw him do this last week and actually ended up winning the second segment by doing this.
He also knew how to get in and out of pit road at speed as well. That's what got him the pole.
Yeah. 170 miles an hour at the entrance cone last week during qualifying. Katie barred the door.
Jamie Murray.
We got Baker, Samard. We got plenty more pitting here.
Well, they're not gonna let Mayato get away like they did last week.
Absolutely not. As Mayato did get a 15.1 on that pit stop, so that's a pretty decent time for four tires and fuel. As Seth Hatchell's now bringing it down. So everybody coming down pit road now. Adam Baker getting a decent stop. Chris Samard getting a decent stop. Mulrooney getting a decent stop. 15 dead for Adam Baker in pit road.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to beat Mayato out. I think Mayato can go right by him.
There goes Mayato as he isn't got drafting help as he goes towards turn 3. Gets around Gameforth. Gonna set his sights on Gonzalez as he's just flying around this track right now.
Yeah, if you want to see his speed difference, Baker just flew right by the 18 of Mitchell, so that just shows you how much of a difference the tires are there.
As Jay Felton makes his way into pit road now, so he's going to be the last one to bring it down. So actually, I'll take that back. Brad Hicks is still out on pit road. Brad Hicks is very well known for staying out for as long as possible in order to try and hold on to that lead, but look who's right behind him.
Samar's pitting again, so he's got a penalty.
Eating off.
Oh, so Chris Samard, more bad luck there for the 77. He is going to be really pegged back now because of that. Unless there's a caution and he's the first car in the lead lap, I'm pretty sure Chris Samard's race is pretty competitively done right now.
Right now it looks like Hicks, Gonzalez, and I think maybe Gainsforth and Mitchell are the four I think that haven't pit yet, so they must be hoping for a caution here.
Ron Hollyfield and Jay Dubuque have also not pit, so your top 6 have not pit yet.
Yeah, Joe Mitchell hasn't pit either, as Mitchell actually gets around Lupe Gonzalez. Remember, we've seen this from Joe Mitchell before. He is the master of saving fuel and tyres, so watch for him to keep it out there as long as possible. Also, as we saw in Las Vegas, watch him to switch off that engine if at all possible, as he's in the wall. I take that back. Still keeps it wound up as he's catching David Gameforth now. David Gameforth is actually your leader right now, as Keith Mayato, he's got Adam Baker right behind him now. Adam Baker's really chasing him down at this point.
Absolutely.
I doubt they can make it. I extremely doubt they can make it. Unless if they do some extreme fuel saving or something. There's no way these guys can make it.
Joe Mitchell's done it before.
Yeah, there's a guy to do it though. It's definitely Joe Mitchell, especially with, you know, the issues we've seen him have tonight. You know, he hasn't been very on the pace per se, so he might be trying some different strategies to get that track position. Maybe not off pace, but off of
always in the grass.
Mitchell's in the grass.
He likes that grass tonight, doesn't he?
He should have painted that car John Deere green instead of the Skittles color. I mean, been in a lawnmower plenty of times tonight.
He should have John Deere sponsorship on his car.
I think we should make that suggestion to him for next week. Where are we at? Actually, that's a good point.
As Joe Mitchell has lost a couple of spots there to Gonzalez, and actually that was Robertson going around him, getting a lap back off him. Gameforth is still your leader with 10 laps to go in the stage. Can he make that car last 10 more laps and bring home the stage win? It's a pretty tall order at the moment, especially with the pace that Adam Baker and Keith Mayato are going right now, as they are actually slugging it out going through turns 1 and 2. Adam Baker is got the inside line onto the backstretch. They're side by side. This is still a continuing battle from earlier in the race and also from last week, as these two just cannot be separated at any point, even through green flag pit stops, Tony.
Well, there's a reason why those two are the two winningest drivers in SOMO history. The only good thing is these two are slugging it out with each other. Gainsforth has a 13-second lead over these two. The only one he's really got to worry about right now is Lupe Gonzalez, who is just over.
Gameforth is in.
Well, there you go.
So Lupe Gonzalez taking over the lead there as Gameforth brings it pit side. Bad strategy choice there for Gameforth, because he could have had the stage win there.
I don't think he had enough fuel to do it.
Yeah, as Gonzalez is now at the point with Ron Hollifield up to second now. Made that.
And I dare say Gonzalez can make it from here, simply because he was one of the last cars to take it down pit road the last time we had a caution.
Absolutely, so he has probably got more fuel in that number 53 machine. Making his way out of turn 2, he's got a good 2.2 second gap over Ron Hollifield, who sits in second. Joe Mitchell still hanging on for third, but Adam Baker,
he is saving gas. He's actually cutting the motor going into the corners.
Let's go to his cockpit there as we are watching him come out of turn 4. Let's listen in on Joe Mitchell as he goes towards turn 1 and 2. Does he switch off the engine?
Lupe is.
Oh, Lupe is. Well, let's listen in on Lupe as he makes his way towards turn 3. Does he switch the engine off again as he goes into turn 3? Yes, he does. So, strategy there for Lupe Gonzalez as he is using the engine off strategy.
I mean, he's saving. He's going in. He's turned it off there at the entrance of that short chute, and he's going. Oh, he's on the wall.
That's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Well, not too much. He lost 0.4 of a second because of that.
I mean, he's saving a ton of fuel by doing this. I mean, think of it. He's probably saving half a mile every lap, maybe.
Yeah, but that's helping Ron Hollifield close in on him very quickly. Ron Hollifield not switching off the engine in the corners. So he's closing in actually maybe a 10th or 2 per lap.
Yeah, but it's not going to be enough because, you know, we're currently working lap 86. Caution's going to come out on lap 90.
As Adam Baker and Keith Mayato have got around Joe Mitchell and they're hunting down that number 7 of Ron Hollifield. Ron Hollifield is in trouble at this point.
Yeah, Baker's only 2.5 seconds back from Gonzalez, so eventually Gonzalez is just going to have to go for it eventually if he can just keep saving fuel. But probably within the next 2 laps, he's going to have to just go for it.
As we're looking back at Gonzalez, still switching off the engine through the corners. He's got to realise now he's got a very fast number 48 car chasing him down, as he's only got to make it last 2 more laps.
I mean, he might not get the stage win, but he might get a top 3 out of doing this here.
And if you remember, Adam Baker tried this strategy last week and he failed miserably. So
Baker's just gonna fly by him.
Yeah, here we go. Here comes Adam Baker. Baker to the point as they come out of turn 4 to start the final lap of stage 2. And it looks like Keith Mayata is going to try and get up there for second place as well as he goes around Lupe Gonzalez. And now Keith Mayata is in second place. Seth Hatchell's going to be the next one to catch Gonzalez as well.
Yeah, he just needs to keep in it.
Yeah. As Adam Baker. Yeah. Adam Baker coming out of turn 4. Adam Baker's going to get the stage 2 win, followed by Keith Mayata and Seth Hatchell. Lupe Gonzalez looks like. Yellow. Yeah, Lupe Gonzalez comes away with the top 5 in stage 2.
4th place. He's
but now he just needs to make sure he doesn't run out of fuel. He needs to make sure he doesn't run out of fuel under caution here. I think he'll do it though. I think he'll get back.
So let's go to our stage results after stage 2. Adam Baker coming home with a stage win. Keith Mayata 2nd, Seth Hatchell 3rd, Lupe Gonzalez tyres and fuel saving to the max. He comes home in 4th. Ron Holyfield doing the same thing. He finishes in 5th. 6th is Joe Mitchell. 7th, Aaron Mulrooney Jr. 8th, Ryan Robertson. 9th, Jay Felton. And getting another bonus points for finishing in 10th place was Brad Hicks. So Brad Hicks.
Did we have a caution under that last
No, we did
segment?
not.
No, we did not. It was green the whole way.
Lupe Gonzalez just went 45 laps on fuel.
That's impressive.
That's very impressive.
You kind of wonder how many miles he actually ran under power though, that entire run, or how many laps he did.
Well,
I mean, he probably saved 5 laps by just turning off the engine.
Well, Gonzalez knows how to get it done. He's the 3rd winningest driver in SOMO League history, so he definitely knows how to get it done. And he's definitely proved that here tonight as they're all bringing it down pit road. That must be a very pleasing sight to see for Lupe Gonzalez right now.
Absolutely, and you got to wonder how much pit farming he's going to do under this caution, as he still has quite a bit of damage on the right side of that 575 Motorsports number 53.
Absolutely, as they're gonna just watching people coming in pit road now. Who's going to make it out of pit road first? That is the question. What happened to Chris Sabat though? Because he.
Well, he had that speeding penalty, remember, and he went a lap down, so he probably stayed out.
Oh, problems for Mayata. Big problems for Mayata. Mayata's still in pit road. Only just leaving now. Mayata having huge issues on pit road. And that's dropped him down to P9. Wow. Speeding, I'm guessing, Tony?
Checking it out now.
That's a
Yep.
Yeah, that's a pretty sizable mistake, especially with this late in the race. We've got 75 to go, about 75 to go here, so he's got time. I mean, we're not saying he's out of time, but he's not a whole lot of it.
Well, when we go back to green, we're going to have a straight run to the finish now. No more caution, no more competition caution, so whatever cautions.
No, you had it right the first time. No more cautions.
Yeah, no more cautions. Adam Baker winning the race off pit road. Seth Hatchell is in 2nd. Ron Holyfield, great pit stop for him. He comes out of pit road in 3rd. Ryan Robertson 4th. Lupe Gonzalez 5th. Aaron Mulrooney Jr. 6th. Jay Felton there, still in the top 10, still in 7th place. Keith Mayata actually comes back out in 8th place. Joe Mitchell 9th, and Brad Hicks rounding out the top 10 still. David Gameforth, a big loser in the pit road as well, as he's still pit farming that car from the damage he received earlier. And Chris Samard, not sure what happened to him, but he's dropped right back as well.
Samard actually lost a lap because he had to repit.
Oh yeah, because he had the penalty, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh. And it looks like Len McNeese is still pit farming his car as well.
Yeah, but in the event we get a caution, you know, Samart's that only car a lap down, so he'll definitely get the lucky dog.
Well, the way it works for those people who aren't familiar with the iRacing penalty system, if you get caught speeding into your pit stall, they hold you for 15 seconds per timing loop that you went through above the speed limit. If you get caught speeding off, there's one of two penalties. If you're under caution, they move you to the tail end of the longest line. If you pit under green and speed off, you have to come back in for a stop and go, which unfortunately is what happened to Samart.
Absolutely, as they are 2 by 2 again. The lights are off on the pace car. Tony, it's your turn to get us going, brother.
So we've seen these guys both work together and throw bombs at each other before. The teammate's going to start us off, so expect to see Hatchell and Baker work together at least for a little while. Field working its way through the 3-4 complex. Baker going to have control of the field. As pace car makes the hard left turn, Baker holds him down just a little bit and finally pulls the trigger. We are back live to start segment number 3.
Baker getting off to a decent restart there, as does Seth Hatchell. Hatchell is still there with Baker, so watch for Hatchell to make his way through the field there. Looks like Ryan Robertson actually got the pass on Ron Holyfield. Holyfield is in trouble here. He's got Aaron Mulrooney Jr. right on his fender. Mulrooney Jr. got to try the inside line there on the number 7 as they come out of turn 4. Mulrooney Jr. is clear. Here comes Gonzalez. He's going to try and make a move now. He's going to get the clear. Big problems there for Holyfield as here comes Mayato too.
Well, Holyfield's one of those drivers that he doesn't like driving the second line. And if you're not comfortable in that second lane and you get, forced up there, you're just along for the ride at that point until somebody's going to let you back in line.
Absolutely, as he's still losing spots. He's just lost another one to Joe Mitchell. About to lose another one to Brad Hicks, as here comes Hicks. No, Holyfield defends from him. But let's go back to our leader, Aaron Baker. He's absolutely checked out from Hatchell by the looks of things, as Hatchell unable to cope with him right now.
Hatchell unable to cope with him, but Mayato and Mitchell slugging it out right now for 6th.
Absolutely, and no love lost between Mitchell and Mayato as they make their way towards turn 1. Mitchell not really got the run on Mayato. Remember, Mitchell does have that left side damage. Is it the left side or the right side? Right side.
Right side.
Right side damage on his car, so not got the speed to keep up with the 09 as Keith Mayato making his way back through the field after receiving that speeding penalty on the competition caution. Lupe Gonzalez there in 5th place. He is just riding right now, not really in any battles with anybody, save for Mulrooney Jr. He's just riding as well. He's just staying out of trouble, as Ryan Robertson is right on the fender of Seth Hatchell. Ryan Robertson really up for this in this final stage of the race.
And you're speaking about damage, Robertson got a little bit of that right front quarter panel damage as well in his car. So, talking about damage, Mitchell, having his damage, we've seen how it's affected him. It seems like the damage to Robertson's not really affected him. He's been, we talked about him coming through the field now. He's up to 3rd, starting 4th in that restart there. So it looks like he might be a contender here if we get a nice green flag run going here.
Yeah, we've not really seen much of Robertson this season. I think the All-Star race was actually his debut in this league, so definitely good to see him running up with the big boys early in this his SOMO career, as he's still trying to chase down that number 8 of Seth Hatchell. Adam Baker having it all his own way so far, as it looks like Mulrooney Jr. is fighting it out with Lupe Gonzalez. Lupe Gonzalez has had enough of just riding and he wants to get into the fight now with the 07. He's got the outside line as they're side by side across the line, as here comes Mayato as well. He's starting to close in on these guys too.
Yeah, Mayato might make a move here in the next couple of laps, you know. We got, what, 55 to go coming up here. No, 65, my bad. So he's got to be starting to want to get to the front. You know, there's plenty of laps. I mean, we're talking, 30 minutes or so of track time under green to get there. So he's got plenty of time, but you still want to have as much time as possible to make those moves. So he might be coming here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, they're all dicing it out. Those 4 cars in that little pack right there, headed by Mulrooney Jr. There goes Mayato to the inside of Gonzalez. Mitchell's going to try and go with him as well, as Mitchell and Mayato look to be working together to try and make their way to the front right now. Still unable to get past Mulrooney though, as they make their way into turn 1. Now Mayato turns down to the bottom line. Gonna get the inside line on the 07. Coming out of turn 2, slide job city as he goes up into the 4th spot. Takes away that position from Mulrooney Jr.
Looks like Robertson's fading a little bit back from Hatchell. It's not a whole lot, he's just kind of riding, maybe trying to get some nice clean air in that car, but still, if you're thinking this from Robertson's point, you kind of just want to ride. I mean, as we said, this is his first points paying race. So he might be just learning the guys. He's in the wall.
That's not going to help.
You were saying?
As you love to say, Tony, get your hate mail coming.
Oh!
Got a big slide.
Yeah, I just noticed that at the back of the shot there, as Mayato getting it all wrong for the tri-oval. Still managed to keep his foot in it, as he's still closing in on Robertson despite that.
So, out of that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can get your hate mail going to Mr. Nate Seifker, care of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, P.O. Box CU 812.
So that's our first hate mail request for tonight.
I've been to Moose Jaw, now I can die.
Let's go back to our leader, Mr. Adam Baker. He really has checked out. He's 7/10 of a second up the road from Seth Hatchell, who has got a nice 1.2 gap. Second gap over Ryan Robertson, but don't look in your mirrors right now, Mr. Robertson, as you've got a hard charge of Mr. Mayato chasing you down really quickly.
Speaking of nice battle, we got a heck of a battle going on for 6th here with Hicks, Mulrooney, and Gonzalez shaping up here. Looks like everybody's wanting to go forward.
There, Chris Samard in that, obviously. Samard is a lap down. Looks like Jay Felton is there as well, drafting with the 77.
As here comes Mayato.
Yeah, Mayato.
No, he's not. He's not even breathing hard, I'll bet you.
Robertson doing a good job defending from the 09 though. Very impressive there from the 32. I've been very impressed with the way Robertson runs these races, especially from what we saw last week in the All-Star race. Really showing that potential again here tonight at Charlotte. And speaking of potential, next week we're going to be seeing the debut of one Mr. Ronnie Osmer in this league, so that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think all of us know how capable of hands a race car is with Ronnie. So I think I got that mixed up. But anyway, Ronnie's a great driver. He's a good guy too. So he'll be
with actual ARCA experience too.
Exactly. He's actually got real life experience. So he'll fit like a glove in this league for sure.
As there goes Mayato, finally gets a position away from Robertson. He's up into the podium paying positions. As Robertson actually going to try and get a run back on the 09. not going to make it work this time, as Mayato is just driving like a man possessed right now, and he's now set his sights on Seth Hatchell, who's 2 seconds up the road.
Another slide. Wow, Mayato's really driving this thing every now and then out of 4. Get another big slide there.
And that's that pothole that you got to watch out for at the transition.
Absolutely.
You know, with Ronnie coming into SOMO, I kind of got to feel sorry for these guys when we go to Watkins Glen, because the last time Ronnie was at Watkins Glen in a car that had 4 fenders on it was the 6 Hours of the Glen, where I watched him make up a 45-second gap to put the car on the podium.
Is that where they are next week?
Is what?
Is that where they are next week?
No, that's not till June.
Oh, okay. I like Watkins Glen. One of my favourite road courses. Then again, if your name's Nate Siefker, every road course is your favourite road course.
Very true. I can't even think of a bad road course.
I can.
Which one? Ooh, look at Mitchell in the background there. Yo, what a big slide. Wow.
Yeah, Mitchell having to back out of that one as he almost got it all wrong going in turn 2 behind Robertson. Mitchell really driving the wheels off that car, trying to get up into the decent points paying positions, but not having it all his own way here tonight.
I kid you not, Mitchell was sideways from the banking into turn 1 all the way to the grandstands in turn 2. That's how sideways he was throughout the entire corner. If you look up Jamie McMurray's save at Las Vegas, it looked exactly like that. That was incredible.
Anyway, let's go back to road courses. Nate, I just want to ask the obligatory question here. Have you driven the Wang yet?
That's exactly what I was going to say. You asked me what the worst road course in the history of ever is. It's the infield road course at Kansas, also known as the Wang.
I don't think I've ever competitively raced there. I've maybe driven it in an Indy car just to see how it worked for a Roval. I mean,
no,
track
just
labels.
the infield section.
Oh, just the infield? Oh, I've never done that then.
Yeah, it's just the infield portion of the road course. And if you look at it from an aerial view, it looks like...
It looks very phallic.
It looks like jump.
Yeah.
It looks like someone's jump.
Let's go back to our leaders now, as it looks like Seth Hatchell has caught up to the back of the 48 of Adam Baker. Seth Hatchell really enjoying the conditions here tonight, as he's now caught up to the back of Adam Baker. And like I said earlier in the race, Seth Hatchell really looking to get another race win tonight, this season, after winning it in stylish fashion at Phoenix. I was very sad to miss that race, even though I was on vacation.
You know, I think this is more down to Baker having mistakes, because Mayato has made up about a full second in the past 5 laps. So it looks like this might be down to Baker, you know, struggling a little bit here as we see Hatchell going to the inside here.
And expect green flag pit stops coming in the next 10 laps or so, I reckon.
Yeah, but that sounds about right. I mean, you gotta get a good balance between the two. But I mean, we've seen nice green flag racing since, you know, about the middle part of stage 1 here. So I mean, we haven't had an actual legitimate caution since then.
Well, gentlemen, I lost a bet earlier. I have to step away for a little bit. Best of luck to you in the rest of the broadcast.
Thank you. See you later. I'm not sure what that bet was, but Tony has had to step away, but me and Nate, I'm sure we'll have just as much fun regardless, as we're still watching the battle between Hatchell and Baker. As I said already, Nate, Hatchell really wants to get another win on the season here.
Yeah, I mean, Hatchell, you know, the first race I saw for this league was Phoenix, and, you know, that race, you know, had a fair share of cautions, but, you know, Hatchell stayed clear of, you know, most of the incidents that happened. You know, Baker, as you know, has been one of the top winningest drivers in Mayato as well. You know, very capable hands in the top 3 for sure. We see Mitchell tonight, you know, we've seen him struggle, but, you know, he's in the top, you know, 5 as well, and Robertson, you know, we've seen him come to the field. He's in the top 5, so we've got plenty of people starting to see the cream rise to the top tonight. It'll be interesting to see if, you know, Baker, once we have green flag pit stops, can, you know, have that short run pace again. But we'll have to wait and see for those green flag pit stops.
Absolutely.
As Baker getting a little out of shape there. Not too bad though, but I mean still, at this point in the run you want the car to be on glued to the track, and it doesn't look very secure for any of these guys at the moment.
Absolutely. It looks like Seth Hatchell has dropped back a bit from Adam Baker. Looks like maybe the tyres are starting to fall off at this point, as it looks like Keith Moyato still trying to close that gap. The gap is still sticking at 1 second between him and Hatchell.
Now Moyato gained about 1/10 there, as it looks like Hatchell's going to the inside here. Well, Hatchell's redoing a charge here with lap traffic.
There's his side-by-side with Adam Baker. Now is his chance as they go across the line. Is he going to use Len McNeese as a blocker? And he does. Seth Hatchell's your new leader as Len McNeese is in the wall. McNeese is in the wall. Is that going to bring out a caution? No, it's not, but he's going to be very slow coming out of turn 2. Meanwhile, let's go back to the lead battle. Seth Hatchell back in the lead again as Adam Baker tried to cross him over in turns 1 and 2. Going to try it again. Drops down to the inside line as they go through 3 and 4. They're side by side as they come out of 4. And give that lap to Seth Hatchell, but definitely this is really picked up in the last lap or so, Nate.
Yeah, Baker's just going to keep driving it in as you see him chuck it down to the bottom here. So it looks like he's having difficulties getting back down to the power. Hatchell could just keep her wound up on the top, but don't be surprised if we see this for the next, you know, 7 laps maybe, until we get green flag pit stops. See exactly this. Baker diving it down, Hatchell keeping it wound up on the top side.
Yeah, look at Keith Moyato, who's actually got the gap down to half a second now. After that battle just came out of nowhere, Moyato now sees a chance there of retaking the lead after all that battling that's happened in front of him.
Yeah, here's what the 2 leaders hear. Da-da, 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 da-da. That just keeps coming and coming and coming, and eventually, probably, here he goes.
No, Hatchell's going to be the first to blink. Hatchell's bringing it down pit road. The leader is in first. So definite strategy here for the number 8. Let's keep an eye on him and see how his pit stop goes, because he will want to get a fantastic pit stop out of this to get out ahead of Keith Moyato and Adam Baker at this point.
Hatchell ran at 51 miles an hour quite a ways through pit road there, so he's going to be borderline on, you know, being speeding there.
It looks like he hit his box pretty damn well. Gonna get the left sides on now, as that is a 15.1 in his box. That's a really impressive time there.
Now we're just waiting on the other 2 leaders here. I'd assume Baker's going to be coming this lap. I would have to assume that. Moyato might stay on another lap just to, you know, say, hey, I led a lap this stage. Maybe, you know, get a better footing here, as it looks like Baker's low. He might be pitting. He does go to side of pit here.
So Adam Baker, the next one to blink as he brings it down pit road. Last time we had green flag pit stops, it was actually Moyato the first one to blink, but he is staying out in this point. There he is coming out of turn 2. And he's all on his own now, so he's got a chance to run some pretty fast laps and try and see if he can gain some time over Baker and Hatchell. Let's keep an eye on Hatchell as he's side by side with Mulrooney Jr. trying to get his laps back, as almost banging doors going through turns 3 and 4. Where is Adam Baker? Adam Baker is... Yeah, Adam Baker...
about to come out here.
Yeah, here comes... Oh, Simon's going across the grass just as it happens. There goes Hatchell. Gets that position back from Adam Baker. There goes Baker coming out of pit road now. But Hatchell just steaming past the 48. And I can only assume that the advantage now is with the number 8.
He had a heck of a stop. I mean, Hatchell is well up the road to Baker. It's probably every bit of 4 seconds. So Hatchell give the advantage to him. He's had a heck of a stop there. Gonzalez and I think Mitchell both made their pit stops here as Hatchell's going to put a lap down on, who is that? That is Mr. Holloway there. So green flag pit stops in full effect. Advantage. Mr. Hatchell had a brain fart there.
As Mayato's in. No, he's not. I lied. As he's still staying out on track. Is this going to help him or is it going to hurt him?
I mean, we saw how 2 laps. I mean, I don't know if you can see how long Baker's pit stop was, but I mean, Mayato is probably be a bit hurt here as he looks like he's slowing down. He's going to decide to pit here.
So here comes Mayato to take his pit stop. There goes Hatchell past him as he goes into pit road. All Hatchell has got to do is get a decent lap here, and he's going to be back in the lead, well ahead of Keith Mayato. Depends on how quickly Keith Mayato can get his pit stop done and dusted. As here he comes towards his pit box.
I don't know if you can see this, but how long was Baker's pit stop there?
How long does what?
How long was Baker's pit stop? Because I mean, Hatchell had a 15.1 be down
14.9.
So that just shows you how much tires helps there. I mean, that's 2 seconds.
Keith Mayato's not even off the jacks, and Seth Hatchell's just breezed by him in back into the lead as he is 2.2 seconds to the good over Adam Baker. Advantage Seth Hatchell as he comes out of turn 4, well out in the lead right now.
That's actually very impressive to see the gap there, man. Very impressed. I mean, I didn't think it would be that big of a difference with fresh rubber, but as you can see, it obviously is. I mean, you know, Baker's 2.1 off the pace there, and they're even when they came to pit road. So that just shows how 2 laps of not fresh rubber can do for you.
Absolutely. As Keith Mayato's come out of pit road and straight into a battle with Lupe Gonzalez. Lupe Gonzalez got the inside line, but Keith Mayato's going to put a pass on him on the outside. What a pass there for the 09. Back up into P6. Keith Mayato really on a charge right now to get back up into that top 5.
And Keith is, 10 seconds off the leader. So, I mean, in 5 laps, cost 10 seconds. That's incredible. I'm not even sure how it's even humanly possible.
Absolutely, as he's already got about almost a second over Lupe Gonzalez already, as Aaron Mulrooney Jr. is in pit road to get a stop done, so he is one of the last ones to take it down pit road. As we'll go back to our leader, Seth Hatchell, who's got to put a lap on Ron Hollifield. Ron Hollifield, remember, he started near the front on that last restart and he's fallen backwards completely. Where is he now? He's in P10 and a lap down now. So that's how far he's fallen back since the restart.
So that's either a car problem or something. That's off the pace. I mean, that's 30 seconds a lap in the span of about 40 laps.
Something like that. As I am noticing that we're missing Shane Papala tonight. I just remembered that.
Isn't he in the hunt for the championship as well?
Yeah, he is. Anyway, I digress. Adam Baker has got that lead down to 1.2 seconds now, although he does have to get around Ron Hollifield. As we're getting closer to the end stages of this race now, I can see this being one hell of a battle for the lead as Adam Baker is closing in on that number 8 right now.
Yeah, 2 lap first tires. We thought that, that difference in the pit stops won't be that much. Obviously it is. So maybe the 2 lap older tires for Hatchell is going to come back to hurt him here. I mean, Baker's closing up on him. When he came out of the pits, it was 2 seconds, down to 1.2 now. So this could come out to be a very good battle here. We got a good battle. They're also shaping up between Mitchell, Robertson, and Mayato shaping up here.
Now there is Mitchell on the back stretch in that number 18. He's up to 3rd place. He did make his pit stop earlier on, and he's on the same amount of laps on tyres as his teammate Adam Baker. Ryan Robertson really trying to hold off the 09 of Keith Moyato. Moyato's going to try and make the pass on the outside, just like he did on him earlier in the race. As he did on Gonzalez, actually. He's going to make it work, though. Look at the speed Moyato got out, coming out of turn 2. Gets the pass done on the outside. Keith Moyato is up to P4.
Yeah, I'm sure Mayato's a little angry that he lost all those time in the pit, so he's on the mission. He's on a mission to go back to the front. Time's not on the side, though, as Baker has now just dipped to under a second to Hatchell.
So Adam Baker on a charge there. He's already got around Ron Holyfield. Now he sets his sights on the leader as Keith Moyato has just made a pass on Joe Mitchell. But with 25 laps to go, Nate, 7 seconds is going to be one hell of a mountain to climb to get up to the top 2.
Yeah, he needs a caution. If anyone needs a caution in this field, it's Moyato. I mean, yes, he has the fresher tires out of everybody. I mean, he's 5 laps fresher tires than Hatchell, but 5 laps fresher tires is not going to make up a 7-second gap that easily. But I have been proven wrong about tires before. As you know, said earlier in the race, I thought that 2 laps on pit stops wasn't going to be that big. Shows that it has been. So this might be working in Mayato's favor if he could just crank out personal best lap times throughout the rest of the race.
And his last lap time was a 29.458. But that was basically from battling with Joe Mitchell just there. He's still faster than Hatchell and Baker, who are getting closer and closer together. As we're coming to 22 laps to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The battle is on between the 8 and the 48. This is going to be one hell of a battle between these two Chevrolets.
You know what? I might have been wrong because Moyato was a whole 9/10 quicker than Hatchell that last lap. So, I mean, he continues to, let's do an average of, let's say, 5/10 a lap. Moyato will be here. So I might have been proven wrong again by tires. Shows how well I know about Goodyear tires. Maybe I should stick to Firestones.
And I'm thinking they've probably got one more stop to make before the end of this race as well. So unless they try and save tires and fuel, which they don't seem to be doing right now, we could be seeing one more pit stop.
I think they made their money stop because they pitted on lap. Baker pitted on lap 129. So that's about what 36 to go, and we saw Gonzalez make it 45 laps, albeit extreme fuel saving. But I think it might be possible for everyone to make it here. I think the guy who can for sure make it is Moyato. If anyone's questionable, it's definitely Hatchell, but as we can see, Baker is all of a sudden right on Hatchell's rear bumper.
Absolutely, as Keith Moyato has now got that gap down to 5.6 seconds. Let's go back further in the field. Jay Felton, currently in not really in a battle with anybody right now. Still able to keep it in the top 10. He started at the back of the field, remember. He is up to P7. He's been there most of the race, actually, as he is chasing down Chris Samar to put another lap on him. Brad Hicks is there too in that top 10. He's been in there. David Gainforth running all on his own now in that 101 Chevrolet Miller High Life machine. He was involved in a wreck earlier. That's why he's got that damage on the front of that machine.
Big slide for Hatchell there.
As the battle is on now between the leaders. There is Baker, there is Hatchell. Here comes Baker to try to dive it down the inside of the number 8. Not going to make it work this time.
And they both got loose out there, so they're both battling pretty hard. Tire was already starting to become an issue. I mean, we're only, what is it, about 20 laps into a tire run here, so it's starting to show with the tire wear, but hopefully they can make it last and not crash each other. Looks like Baker, is he going to come up in the Hatchell? Very close. Wow.
The battle's still going on between the 8 and the 48. I mean, Seth Hatchell is going to be holding on for dear life right now. He really wants to get this win not had the best of luck since Phoenix, as here comes Baker again on the inside of Hatchell. Gonna really try and make the move work this time around as they come out of turn 2. Hatchell still holding on to that lead. Great defending there for the number 8 I-Flag machine.
Yeah, there's something that Hatchell wants to see that's yellow, other than the walls, and that's the yellow flag. So Baker wants this to stay green, and Baker gets a big slide out of 4 there.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt him a bit as Hatchell gets a car length over the 48 now. Let's go back to Keith Mayato as see how he's progressing. Got the gap down to 4.0 seconds now, Nate, so he's definitely trying to close that gap as much as he can, but 15 laps to go. It's still a huge mountain to climb there for him.
Well, we figure 4 seconds back with about 14 to go now, so figuring if he just makes up about 3/10 a lap, which we've seen him do this run, he's very capable to get there. And Baker with a big dive to the lead here.
As Adam Baker really getting closer to the 8 of Hatchell with 14 laps to go in this race as they're side by side coming out of 3 and 4. Can Hatchell hold on? The answer is yes, he can. He's really putting that foot to the floor and really trying to keep that car out in front, and he's really pinching down on the 48 now to try and stay out in front.
Hatchell begging for a caution at this point. That's the only thing he's praying for. Baker, though, he might clear him here if he can just get a nice run in the turn. There he goes.
Dive
Good job
bomb.
for Baker there.
That was one hell of a dive bomb for Baker, as Baker now finally gets the clearance to the front as here comes Hatchell again. Crosses each other over as they cross the line. The Hatchell back in front. What a battle this is turning out to be between these two drivers.
Huge slide out of 4 for Baker. He comes back and is like, no.
Oh, Hatchell's in the wall. And that's the caution. Disaster there. We knew this was going to happen. They were racing each other so closely. And Hatchell...
Man.
Oh, wow.
I said Hatchell wanted a caution, and he was praying for a caution. I don't think he wanted it to be himself there. So that's a heartbreak for him.
Yeah, as we watch the battle there as they come across the line towards turn 1, Hatchell gets the clear on him after that slide job. Get it close coming out of turns 1 and 2, and it looks like Baker got into the side of him and just basically punted him into the wall.
Yeah, if I had to have a theory there, Baker had that huge slide out of 4, and that probably, rose the tire temps by probably a good 20 degrees, and it takes a little bit for those tire temperatures to get back down, so probably didn't have all the grip that he thought he'd have, and that's why we saw him slide up a little bit.
Yeah, and this is fallen right back into the hands of Keith Mayato. Remember, he was praying for a caution, and he got it.
Yeah, a lot of the front runners here were praying for a caution. Mitchell, he's one of the guys that we saw praying for a caution. Robertson, he had a great restart that last restart, so he might be a contender here. It all depends here on this money stop for sure.
Yeah, let's not forget Joe Mitchell is there too, as we're looking at from the chopper cam to see how they cope with these pit stops, as they're all in their blocks safely. So
wouldn't be surprised if somebody did 2 tires here.
As here comes Mitchell. Mitchell's going to win the race of pit road by looks of things. Mitchell took 2 tires. No, he didn't. He took 4 tires.
That's a fantastic stop for Mitchell. That might have won in the race if he can just stay out in front. That's an impressive pit stop if he took 4 tires there.
14 seconds in his box, so definitely 4 tires. Obviously, they didn't take as much fuel because there's only 10 laps to go, so...
Yeah, I'm surprised that, some of these guys in the back here, Hicks, Gonzalez, they didn't take 2. I'm kind of surprised. There's maybe Hollifield. I mean, we saw his struggles on the restart, but I wouldn't surprise me if some of those guys took 2 there. But you know what? This could shape out to be one of those races at the end here that we might be talking about for a while here.
Absolutely, as there is our leader now, Joe Mitchell, getting one hell of a pit stop right when it mattered, and he's got Adam Baker right behind him. Keith Mayato behind Baker. Jay Felton up to 4th place. What a stop he's had. He's up into the top 5. Lupe Gonzalez there in the top 5 too. Ryan Robertson dropping a couple of spots. He's in 6th. David Gainforth 7th. Brad Hicks 8th. 9th is Ron Hollifield. He's still in pit road. He's probably doing a bit more pit farming. As there is Seth Hatchell. I really wouldn't want to be the person talking to him right now.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if him and Baker had a nice conversation after the race. Not a heated one, but just a conversation as to what happened there. If I had to guess, and if we get the opportunity to interview him, it would be an interesting question to ask him, you know, how the grip felt in that corner there. But, you know, we have to wait till the end of the race, as we're going to have probably, I'd assume, 6 to go when we restart here.
Yeah, maybe 7, 8, 7. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like you were saying before, though, Nate. I mean, Seth Hatchell was probably praying for a caution. I think the last thing he expected was for him to be the caution.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way the racing goes every now and then. You know, you pray for a caution. And there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either have someone else be the caution, you can make it yourself, or you can be the caution on your own making there. And it just happened to not be of his own making, just happened to get turned, and that's how racing goes. And you know, it can be pleasurable for you sometimes, and it can be a heartbreak for you sometimes. And it just happened to be a heartbreak. He'll probably still come out of here with a top 10 finish tonight, as long as the damage that he has doesn't slow him down too much. But that's just how it goes every now and then.
Well, Seth is definitely going to try and come for the field before this race is over. Nate, for the final restart of the night, I'm hoping this is the final restart of the night. Get us going again.
So, as you can tell, we have... Ooh, is it Mitchell took the top line here? So we haven't seen that yet tonight. So Mitchell's going to start on the top lane. Baker's going to start on the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see the kinds of runs that Mitchell can get. Mitchell looks like he's itching to go. He's holding the field. Now he decides to go. Good start from Mitchell. He's actually got a great start as Baker struggles again on the restart.
Yeah, as Adam Baker really getting off to a bad restart. He's holding up Mayato on that restart. As here comes Jay Felton on the outside of Mayato. Mayato's going to be in trouble here from Felton. The 9 really getting a run there. Gets held up there by Adam Baker. Baker really defending both lines as they come out of turn 4.
And Mitchell's just hoping that Baker just has to deal with these guys. You know, he's wanting to run away. You know, looks like so far so good. He just hopes that Baker can't catch him. You know, Baker and Mayato have been the class of the field tonight. We've talked about how Mitchell struggled in practice and qualifying. So Mitchell's hoping that just for this 5 laps, he can just be one of the best guys on track. But it looks like Baker's closing in a little bit.
Yeah, Baker finally getting that car nailed down. Now we are going to be 5 laps to go in the line as Mayato's in the wall. He's going to be in trouble from Felton now as Baker slowly closing in on Joe Mitchell. This is going to be one hell of a finish if this stays green. Let's go back to Seth Hatchell, as we did mention he was going to try and come for the field, and there he is trying to make the pass on David Gainforth.
Baker's here. Mitchell's got to defend. Now we saw Baker just be really strong on the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see if Baker can just dive it in there again.
And he does, right on the inside of Joe Mitchell. I believe they're in the same team, but team orders don't matter at this point, as we're within 5 laps to go. We're 4 laps to go, actually. Going to be 3 laps to go at the line. Here comes Baker, gets a dive bomb on the inside, trying to take that inside line from the 18. Then side by side as they come out of turn 4 towards the line. Give that lap to Mitchell takes it by a few thousandths of a second, as they're still side by side as it goes through turns 1 and 2.
And it looks like Baker's going to get the clear on him. So Baker to the point after that caution. It looks like Mitchell might be able to keep second here, but he's got to worry about Mayato coming.
Mayato just holding station right now. I'm thinking that damage to the right side of his car. is really, well, the left-hand side of his car is really hurting him right now as he's under pressure from Lupe Gonzalez. As we are 2 laps to go, the popsicle sticks are out at this point now. This race is going to come to a conclusion. If it goes to the white flag now, it will end under green flag conditions. And we do not want to see a caution at this point. It's been so exciting as we get into the end part of this race. Adam Baker got 2, 3, maybe 3 car lengths over Joe Mitchell right now as they come to the white flag now. Whatever happens on this final lap will not end the race as we're going to end it on the green. Adam Baker is your leader here. Been at the front for most of the race. Joe Mitchell, probably our driver of the night here as he's made his way through the field. Started in the mid-pack and got up to 2nd place under the pit stop conditions. Keith Mayato is in 3rd there. Hope for that caution to come out, but the man of the night here is Adam Baker coming out of turn 4 towards the finish line. Adam Baker is your winner here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Sensational drive. He thought he might have lost it in the pit stops, but he proved us wrong there.
Yeah, Joe Mitchell going to come home for 2nd place. Keith Mayato going to come home in 3rd place. Lupe Gonzalez in 4th. Jay Felton 5th. Ryan Robertson a creditable 6th. 7th Brad Hicks 8th. A very angry Seth Hatchell. 9th is David Gainforth, and running out of the top 10 is Ron Holyfield. But there is the man of the moment. That is Mr. Adam Baker. Going to go to interviews in just a second. But yeah, what a finish that was, Nate.
I think we knew it was coming. We just didn't know how close to the end it was, and you know, we saw Baker just be dominant on that bottom line all night, especially when it came to passing. So it didn't surprise me that's how he passed him. It didn't surprise me that he passed him. I mean, it was a dominant performance for both Baker and Mayato tonight, and heartbreak for Hatchell. You know, he did a great run tonight, but unfortunately, that's how it goes every now and then.
Absolutely. As we are going to go to our interviews for tonight, let's bring in our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Keith Mayato. I'm with Keith right now. Keith, running up front for most of the race, but it looks like a mistake in pit road really was the start of your undoing tonight.
When I stayed in the pits for a long period of time?
Yeah, because you lost a lot of time in pit road, didn't you, at one point?
Yeah, I think Chris got into me on when we were racing side by side, and I don't know if he got damage, but I got 13 seconds worth of damage, and that backtracked my whole night. So yeah, I thought I had a chance if I stayed green there in the end. I had a pretty good run coming up on those guys, but no, I had a pretty good chance, but I hit the wall at on my last little stint there.
Yeah, you were under very, very big pressure from Lupe right there, but managed to come home with the 3rd place. But going back to before that, when the caution came out, you were closing down Adam Baker and Seth Hatchell. I bet you were happy to see that caution come out at that point.
No, I was actually pretty disappointed because I had a feeling I probably was going to beat them because they were racing side by side and they're probably using up all their tires. Well, probably that whole run. Because at least from what I can see, like the last 10 laps when I can actually visually see them, they were running side by side. So I was disappointed that the caution came out. I have a feeling that ruined my chance for the win.
Well, Keith, you seem to be on a bit of a roll, getting the Indy 500 win last night, getting a 3rd place here tonight. Next week, I'm not sure where we're going. Do you know?
No, that makes 2 of us.
Well, next week, going into next week's race, do you think you can carry on your momentum right now and maybe get onto the top step of the podium next week?
I'm gonna try my best every week. That's what I do.
Absolutely, that's why you're that's why you're the winningest driver in the league. Anyway, Keith, congratulations on the 3rd place finish. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for this result?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everyone at JEC, Portside, Jaguar, and Land Rover Cup for sponsoring the series, and yourself, Sam, and Nate for doing an awesome job on the broadcast.
Okay, okay, Keith. Congratulations again, and we will see you again next week.
Awesome, thank you guys. Have a good night.
And that was our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Keith Mayato. Joining us in the booth now is Mr. Joe Mitchell, and Nate, I believe you're with Joe right now.
Joe, this is Nate in the booth. You have a copy with me?
Yes, sir.
Well, tonight we wouldn't exactly call a very dominating performance to you tonight. You started the race 11th, but it seems like great pit stop at the end put you in a prime position to get a top 3 tonight. Talk us through that final pit stop in the last sprint to the finish.
My whole race was terrible. I hit the wall so many times. But yeah, I pitted. I didn't take fuel, so I wasn't really expecting anything stellar out of that last run. I was going to try to get a good jump, hold them off as long as I could, and I just didn't have enough. And I tried to hang on the outside there. I was just praying. I'm like, why couldn't it be 2 to go so I could hold them off? But it didn't happen. But if I'm going to lose to anybody, I'd rather it be a teammate.
Well, did you think you could hold off Baker there at the end? I mean, it looked like for that first couple laps in that green flag, you had a nice sizable gap. I mean, it looked like you may have had a shot to win this race there.
Yeah, I was just, the first couple laps felt okay, and then not having fuel, and it changed the whole balance of the car, and I just couldn't get it to turn. I couldn't get back on the throttle. It was driving me nuts, and I was complaining about it the whole time to him. I'm like, you're going to get me, and he did.
Well, do you have anyone to thank on your second place victory tonight? Well, not quite a victory, but...
Well, it feels like one with how my night went, but I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth, both for broadcasting. Thanks for coming on board, putting all these races on. I'd like to thank all our sponsors, everyone that makes it possible for us to put on the show. And I'd like to thank Paul, all the admins here. It's a great group of guys. I love racing with them. And I'd like to thank my teammates, MB Motorsports, and my wife and son.
By the way, real quick, I had a suggestion. In the next race you have, you should put a John Deere paint scheme on your car with... I've seen you go through the grass a couple of times, but thank you for being up here in the booth with us. And
yeah, I mowed it down pretty good that one time.
and thank you for having us interview there, Joe.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You as well.
As that was second place finisher, Mr. Joe Mitchell. I'm right here with very happy Mr. Adam Baker. Adam, got the win tonight, but almost didn't have it your own way after with that battle with Seth Hatchell earlier in the race.
Yeah, it's just talking with him. I'm looking at it right now. I feel really bad about getting into him. I think it was kind of a racing deal the way it looked, and I think he agrees. He was coming down. I was trying to hold my line as best I could. I think I started to drift up just slightly towards the exit, and I think there might have been a touch of net code in there that sent him around the way he did. But it was awesome racing with him for all those laps, and it was going to be a great battle if we didn't make contact. And again, I feel really bad about it, but really happy to get a win out here.
Yeah, you were at the front for most of the race, and when the green flag pit stops happened, and then Seth Hatchell just absolutely blistered that off and got out in front of you. Do you think the race was lost at that point, or do you think you could actually chase him down and get? Well, you did chase him down and get past in the end, didn't you? So,
yeah, I mean, I saw he was like 3.5 seconds out, and that was kind of a concern. I had stayed out a couple extra laps before I pitted. After he pitted, and I knew I would have had that slightly fresher tires and would have been able to chase him down a little bit, but I did not expect to be able to catch right up to him. And I think we had pretty much evened out by the time I did get to him, but he was holding that high line, and I was trying to, cut underneath him on the low line, and it was quite a battle. I was pretty surprised that I got there in the first place and that I was able to hold it, on the bottom next to him for most of those laps.
Absolutely, and that was probably the battle of the night between you and Seth. Shame it ended the way it did, but in the end, after the last caution, you got off to a decent restart, managed to have a nice battle with your teammate Joe Mitchell at the end. Come home with a win. You've been dominant most of the night. You led the most laps. You got 84 laps led tonight. You really did have that car hooked up tonight.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty fast here on the short runs, but the long run is really my downfall. And in the first stage, I tried some strategy with 2 tires, and it didn't work out. And Keith got around me, but I worked on trying to save the tires if I could, and some things fell my way, and I was able to hold the lead for quite a while. I didn't know I had that many laps, but yeah, it worked out tonight. It hasn't worked out a lot this year so far, but really happy it has tonight.
Well, going into next week's event, I'm not sure where we are next week. Do you know?
I'm not sure.
I'll have to ask.
If I had to take a guess, I'm guessing Darlington. If I had to take a guess.
It's the cup schedule, so they're running the cup schedule. So
for some reason, Darlington's coming to mind. But if I could ask a real quick question here, right before that incident you had with Hatchell, coming out of 4, it looked like you got a little loose. Did you think that maybe you just didn't quite have the grip going into 1 and 2 there as you previously had, and that may have been a factor in you two getting together?
Well, I don't know if I came up as much as he came down at the end there. I definitely was starting to burn the tires up, but I think what happened there is I was looking at my mirror when I slid like that, and wasn't really paying attention to what was in front of me, so I kind of lost track of what I was doing for a second, and really lucky I saved it, or didn't get into Seth, doing that. But then going into the next set of turns, I didn't think it really affected me. I like a loose car, so I can usually hold it down there if it's sliding the rear, but if it's sliding the front, it's a lot more difficult for me. So I don't know if that was really a factor in what happened. I think it was, we were kind of both going for the same spot on the track, like right in the middle lane, and just came together there.
Yeah, and definitely was the one of the most exciting points of the race, along with everything else that happened tonight. Well, Adam, congratulations again on the win tonight. That's 2 from 2 from Charlotte in the last 2 weeks. Definitely looking to carry on your momentum into next week's race. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's win?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth at BOFA Broadcasting. I'd like to thank Portside, Jaguar, and Land Rover for sponsoring the series. I'd like to thank all the admins for everything that they do to run this league and make it a great place to race. Also like to thank all the drivers and my teammates especially for everything that they do. And again, all the fans that came out and watched.
Absolutely, and well, congratulations again, Adam, and we will see you next week.
Great, thank you.
Well, that was Adam Baker, our race winner. Well, Nate, great race, and what a finish!
Yeah, I think we kind of had it brewing there, and I think it was again, unfortunate for Seth Hatchell there, but that's how it goes. He still recovered to 8th place tonight, so I mean, it wasn't like it was the end of the world for him. He still got a top 10 out of it. But it was a great race. A lot of green flag running, green flag pit stops, a lot of strategy, especially with the way Gonzalez saved the fuel and the way we saw the tires come in at the end there, and we had a nice little sprint to the finish. So it was everything you'd want in a race.
Absolutely, and Charlotte always throws up a lot of excitement in the cup cars, and we definitely saw that tonight. Well, that is going to do it for our broadcast tonight. Before I do that, let's go to our results. Let's going to go to the main view once again. Let's go to our results for the night when I can find them. There they go. Adam Baker coming home with the win. Let me take that down. Joe Mitchell coming home in 2nd. Keith Mayato comes home in 3rd. Lupe Gonzalez 4th. Jay Felton, a great finish for him. He was in the top 10 throughout the most of the race, despite starting at the back of the field. He rounds out the top 5. Ryan Robertson comes home 6th. Brad Hicks 7th. Seth Hatchell, pretty disappointing to be 8th, but still finishes in the top 10 regardless. 9th is David Gainforth, and rounding out the top 10 is Ron Hollifield, Nate.
Chris Samard will be the last car on the lead lap, and he'll bring it home in 11th. Aaron Maroney will bring it home 12th, 2 laps down. Larry Holloway will bring it 5 laps down in 13th. Len McNeese, 14th place. Jay Dubuque came home in 15th place. Brian Neff came home 16th. Aaron Schaefer 17th. Tom Clayton came home 18th. Vince Moore, who we saw take a nice wild ride, came home 19th. Buzz Cohen came home 20th. Jeff Glockner, we saw him getting involved in a wreck early on. He came home 21st. And Paul Zoda came home 22nd, 160 laps down.
And that was our results for tonight. Well, that is going to do it here tonight on both the broadcasting and with the SOMO Racing League. Definitely an exciting race for the for the championship. But that is going to do it here tonight from Charlotte. We're going to take a break, and I will be back here tomorrow night with the Go Fast Racing League, who make their return in the Xfinity cars at Charlotte, I think. Either way, I will be back here tomorrow anyway, and definitely looking forward to this race, as I've kind of missed those guys. They've been off for a couple of weeks, and kind of be good to see how they shape up after a couple of weeks off. Saturday I will be back in the booth again as I do the doubles with the Major League Esports League. Firstly, it's going to be the Little Indy with the Pro Masters at Indianapolis, and then I'll be going to Charlotte with the K&N cars with Major League Esports. Missed the last couple of broadcasts, which I apologise for, but I will be back there again on Saturday. Sunday we're taking the night off. Then Monday we're back with the trucks, with the Paskies Cardiac Truck Series. Then Tuesday we're off, Wednesday we're off, and then back next week with SOMO. But that is going to do it here tonight. All that's left for me to say here is keep it clean, keep it green, and we will be back here tomorrow night with the Go Fast Racing League.
Good night, everybody.